There is a letter of just over 80 Chinese characters, yet it has endured for nearly 2000 years and continues to be read and reread by millions. What makes it remarkable is that it contains no secret to wealth, no strategy for defeating rivals, and no shortcut to success. Instead, it offers a few simple words about the greatest challenge of all: mastering oneself. Despite its brevity, many scholars regard this letter as a timeless guide to life. It reminds us that a person's destiny is not transformed by money, power, or luck, but by cultivating the mind, strengthening the will, and living according to enduring values. The author of this letter was not a reclusive philosopher hidden away from the world. He was one of history's greatest military strategists and statesmen, a man whose wisdom helped shape the course of an entire era. In his later years, wishing to leave his son an inheritance far more valuable than gold or riches, he wrote a short letter filled with lessons for a lifetime. That letter is known as the Admonition to my son, Jie Zi Shu, written by Zhuge Liang. More than 1,800 years have passed, yet every line of this extraordinary letter continues to inspire readers around the world. Its wisdom was not meant only for his son. It speaks to anyone searching for clarity, purpose, and inner strength in the fast-paced world we live in today. So what timeless principles did Zhuge Liang leave behind in this brief letter that have allowed it to transcend the centuries? Let's explore its profound lessons together. Number, the letter that has outlived empires. At the very beginning of the letter, Zhuge Liang writes, is greater than. A noble person cultivates character through inner calm and nurtures virtue through a life of simplicity. Just one sentence, yet it lays the foundation for everything that follows. Zhuge Liang believed that if you want to change your life, you must first change yourself. You can be intelligent, you can be talented, you can even have opportunities that others would envy. But if your mind is constantly restless, you'll spend your life making expensive mistakes and calling them bad luck. Look around today. Our attention is auctioned off every second. Notifications, endless scrolling, comparison, the pressure to look successful before actually becoming successful. Sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't a lack of ability. It's the inability to sit quietly with our own thoughts for 10 minutes. Zhuge Liang reminds us, is greater than you. Without simplicity, your ambitions lose their clarity. Without inner peace, you cannot accomplish great things. Notice, he never says wealth is evil. He doesn't tell you to reject success. He's saying something much more uncomfortable. Own your possessions. Don't let your possessions own you. Because the moment your happiness depends on the next promotion, the bigger house, or another stranger clicking the like button, you are no longer driving your life. You're just chasing the next dopamine hit. Then Zhuge Liang turns to learning. Is greater than. Talent comes through learning, and learning requires determination. It's almost funny. 2000 years later, people still search for become successful in 30 days. If Zhuge Liang had access to the internet, he'd probably smile, close the browser, and go back to reading. Because real wisdom has never been in a hurry. Every book you finish, every mistake you survive, every difficult conversation, every failure that bruises your pride, they quietly shape the person you're becoming. No fireworks, no viral moment, just slow, invisible growth. But learning alone isn't enough. He wants is greater than. The lazy will never master their craft. The impatient will never cultivate their character. That line feels almost painfully modern. We start gyms, quit after 2 weeks, buy books, never open them, set ambitious goals on Monday, forget them by Friday. Everyone loves the excitement of beginning. Very few fall in love with the discipline of continuing. And that's where the winners quietly separate themselves from the crowd. Finally, Zhuge Liang leaves perhaps the most sobering lesson in the entire letter. Time flows like a river. Youth disappears before you notice. If you spend your best years chasing comfort instead of growth, one day you look back and realize the greatest loss wasn't money. It wasn't status. It was time. Money can be earned again. A reputation can be rebuilt. Even failure can become a valuable teacher. But yesterday never comes back. Perhaps that's why this little letter has survived while countless kings, kingdoms, and fortunes have faded into history. Because Zhuge Liang wasn't teaching his son how to defeat his enemies. He was teaching him how to defeat his greatest enemy, the one staring back from the mirror every morning. He wasn't teaching how to become rich. He was teaching how to become worthy. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of lesson our modern world needs more than ever. Number, final thoughts. A letter of barely 80 Chinese characters, yet it carries the wisdom of an entire lifetime. Perhaps Zhuge Liang's greatest legacy wasn't the battles he won, nor the brilliant strategies that reshaped history. History remembers him as a military genius, but generations remember him because he understood something far more difficult than winning wars. He understood how to win the battle within. In a world obsessed with moving faster, working harder, earning more, and proving ourselves to strangers on the internet, this ancient letter quietly whispers a completely different message. Slow down, clear your mind, strengthen your character before chasing success. Because here's a strange truth. Most people spend years trying to manage their careers, yet never learn how to manage their own emotions. They organize their calendars, but never organize their thoughts. They upgrade their phones every 2 years, yet keep running the same outdated habits for decades. Maybe that's why so many people feel busy, but so few feel fulfilled. Zhuge Liang reminds us that real success doesn't begin when the world starts applauding. It begins the moment you stop making excuses. The moment you choose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, wisdom over ego, and perhaps the most powerful lesson of all, your greatest opponent has never been your competitors. It has never been bad luck. It has never even been time. It's the version of yourself that keeps choosing what's easy over what's meaningful. So if there's only one sentence worth remembering from this extraordinary letter, let it be this. Is greater than. If you wish to change your destiny, first learn to master yourself. Nearly 18 centuries have passed. Empires have risen and fallen. Kings have disappeared. Fortunes have vanished. But these few lines continue to inspire people across generations. Maybe that's because genuine wisdom doesn't grow old. People do. Wisdom doesn't. If this timeless lesson resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us as we continue exploring the greatest ideas ever passed down through history. Because sometimes, the oldest words still have the newest answers.